What's up guys, Chris here with another manga catch-up type video. This one is going to be a little bit different from the others, as I had been caught up with Boruto for the better part of a month now, and I wanted to talk about it in the fact that I don't think it deserves the hate that it gets. And let's be honest, I kind of fell under the whole Boruto hate train for a while due to the fact that I had a not too good experience just getting into the anime at first. But I actually ended up giving the manga a try, and I also went back into the anime, which, believe it or not, I went into the anime before going into the manga full time, which is something not many people have admitted to doing for this Boruto series. It's something that happens whenever you start an anime and you just jump onto the manga once you catch up. For me, at first, I just wanted to stick to the manga-only content, so I was skipping around. But then I decided to just watch Boruto straight through, maybe skipping over some things that were very irrelevant or just super fillery, where nothing important happens or nothing of significance to the characters or anything, or any real build-up or explanations are done. But I realized something that I think we all need to understand. The filler in Boruto, at least 80 to 90% of it, is 100% necessary to make Boruto feel like a full fleshed out series. I'll get into that in a little bit. But before that, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell for updates on future videos. I know this little thing is put way too late in the video at this point. I should have done this at the very start of the video. But whatever, it is what it is. I kind of do weird things. This video in particular is mostly unscripted, as it's just my general thoughts and opinions on the Boruto series as a whole. Maybe I'll cover Boruto monthly, similar to how I've been doing with Blue Exorcist monthly, but that will honestly depend on how well this video in particular does. I will give the goal of 10,000 views as well as 100 likes, because I do want this video to do well, but I also want to know that you guys actually like these types of videos and would really like me to do Boruto content somewhere down the line. And I know this is very, very steep, but I'm hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers soon, and I'm inching closer. So I'm really hoping that I can reach that 1,000 mark very soon. Because as much as I love doing 4 Nights in Eden Zero content, I do want to add some more stuff into the channel, which is why I started doing Blue Exorcist monthly. Also, just so you know, I also started a Patreon account, so you guys can help support the channel and help me with getting editors to help with these videos, so I can get all these videos done weekly and more often. I also have a Coffee account where a lot of times on Twitter I will do updates and stuff like that on what kind of video I should do. If there is a particular type of video you would like me to do, comment on one of my posts and I will say how much that could end up being for a video to make, as the donation aspect of Coffee really helps to make these videos more possible. While that is a very, very steep and big ask, I really do like that a lot of people are watching these videos, and it shows with the more recent weekly reviews and even with my older manga content that you guys are really liking this. So if there's anything in particular, manga or even anime, that you guys want me to talk about in similar detail or in a similar manner to what I've been doing thus far, please help support me on Coffee or Patreon. That way it can help make these videos come out a lot quicker and possibly in advance so I can continue a weekly schedule. Now with that 2 to 3 minute plug-in out of the way, let's get into my general thoughts and opinions on the Boruto series as a whole. Now let's really address the aspects and negatives of the anime. When Boruto's manga started, and even right now, it is a monthly series. So a good chunk of material has to be done in every single chapter, whether it be world building, setting up plot points, or even some high stakes action scenes. There is a lot that must be planned out, but also spread out in a manner where it does not oversaturate or leave a lot to be desired, but in the end it also leaves less room for a wide extended cast to fully develop. Now, a lot of ongoing series that are monthly do this fairly well. The obvious examples that I am reading right now are Twin Star Exorcists, Blue Exorcists, just to name those two in particular, as they both have very big casts, but they do a good job of giving different portions of screen time and moments for those particular characters, and even doing proper build up and even foreshadowings and world building in the fact that Blue Exorcist in particular has 130 chapters, which is a much longer series than Boruto and Twin Stars, but Twin Stars is currently in 90 chapters and has done a lot of world building as well as character build-up and motivations. Boruto has that, however, the character build-up and growth is only centered on a small group of people, obviously Naruto and Sasuke, but also primarily Boruto himself, since this is his series, and Team 7, as well as the future character known as Kawaki, who is honestly the saving grace of the Boruto series and is one of the best characters in Boruto, if not the best, aside from Best Boy Sasuke and Naruto. But yes, the manga's major downfall is the fact that it's monthly and without going for a weekly release with a certain amount of pages, with a break every so often, there's only so much you can do and so much you can build up the world and setting where you can only have to have it set place with certain key characters, which is where the anime comes in. Now, the one major complaint that I have and that everyone had was literally before adapting the first arc of the Boruto series, which is also a readaptation of the Boruto movie, which was still honestly a really good movie, and this arc in particular is still very good. We had roughly 50 episodes of filler content, which almost half of them star Boruto just as a regular kid going to school, doing some slice of life stuff with ninjas, and building up some of the supporting cast members. It was fun, there was some slight action, but the main thing about this was that build up Boruto and his supporting cast, which the anime itself does very well, because by the time we reach the Chunin exams, which is where the first arc takes place, we have a better understanding of who these characters are. Not a huge amount, but we have like 50 plus episodes of information on and build up on these characters. Because there are certain characters that just showed up in the manga that we don't particularly know or had that much time with, yet they are important to the main cast. One character in particular is called Sumire. She is basically the class rep of Boruto's graduating ninja class when they went to school. And the very first real arc of Boruto, before Boruto became an official ninja, focused around her. And it was honestly a fairly interesting arc, nothing too spectacular or groundbreaking, but for a new series like Boruto, if it was in the manga, it might have been fairly well done. The pacing was, obviously for filler content, it was weird, but it did good to build up Sumire's character, her reasons and motivations for what this arc surrounding around her was, and why she disappeared from the story right up to a certain point in time, and only for her to get reintroduced in the same arc where Kawaki is meant to make his introduction, and then she is a mainstay in the main cast due to her connections with one of the characters, and in turn with Kawaki and Boruto, thus giving us more insight and more urgency to care about her and what she's gonna end up doing for the majority of the series. So it is something that is really good. Another thing that it actually helps build up is more side characters that needed more development. Now this is a bit of a spoiler, so skip to the timestamp ahead because I'm going to talk to this character for a brief 2 minutes or so. Ready? Okay, go. So there's an evil organization that is basically like the Akatsuki for Boruto called Kara. One of the villains is called Victor. Now Victor, he was introduced in the manga for barely a chapter. He was in there for a few short pages, and he was killed the very instant he was introduced. Not much was there after this, just him and his potential thing with maybe trying to sabotage the workings of Kara for his own self-interests, but there was not much else to go into because he was killed instantly. But in the Boruto anime, we had a full arc, which was honestly one of Boruto's best filler arcs in a lot of people's opinions, which also helps tie into the main plot of the series and build up to the main antagonists, where Victor has a starring role as the antagonist for this arc, as well as another member of Kara, which is purely anime original, but it does help with laying some groundwork for the series. We have some good character build-up and moments, and helps with the development of Boruto. Victor, while his motivations are very classic, tropey, evil villain, it is still nice to have this guy have a personality and a goal. Same with this character Deepa, who is very intriguing, but is not the best villain, but has a very creative power. and his whole purpose is to help Boruto and Team 7 grow. So this arc in general is honestly very nice. We got some more insight into Victor, we get to know him, thus making his inevitable death feels a bit more satisfying instead of it just coming out of nowhere, like introducing a character that could potentially be a very strong villain for him to be just killed instantly. And this isn't even the first instance where Boruto actually adds to pre-existing characters from the manga in the anime form, and even builds up the rest of the supporting cast and even the cast of the original Naruto. Hell, there is like there are a few light novel series that get adapted into Boruto, which are pretty good. One of them is Child and Parent Day, which focuses around the holiday that Naruto basically created so parents can spend more time with their kids, and it was also a good excuse for him to spend more time with his daughter and his son, as his duties as Hokage has kept him away from home for a long period of time, and he doesn't spend much time with his family, more particularly his kids, as he would want to. So this was a way of making up for not being there for them as much as he could have once he became Hokage. And it just had some nice parent-child moments, seeing the characters we know and love from the original Naruto play parents and try and be with their kids and interact with them. Hell, we even have some nice Kakashi moments, and that's sprinkled out well throughout Boruto, which I am really happy about. The more Kakashi, the better, and that's all I gotta say for it. One character in particular that I just want to briefly gloss over is the character of Mitsuki, who, spoiler alert, is actually the genetically created offspring of Orochimaru. Now, in the manga, not too much goes into it. We just get mentioned about this later down the road, but there is an entire arc focused around Mitsuki, Boruto and Sarada's reaction to what's going to happen with Mitsuki, his origins, and even the rest of the village high staff. Mitsuki was brought in under Naruto and Orochimaru. Orochimaru was doing research for the Hidden Leaf Village, as he is technically under house arrest to an extent. They can't kill him, he's a prisoner, but they need Orochimaru's research to help in the development of the village. A whole complex spiel type of deal. So Naruto accepts bringing Mitsuki into the village to help Mitsuki grow as a human being, a shinobi, and as a person. But the only people that really knew about this were Naruto and Shikamaru, and some of the members of his inner circle. And what I really like is that when this particular secret gets revealed out in the open, it's in a type of homage to the Sasuke retrieval arc, where Mitsuki seemingly betrays the village, but he goes to try and stop some grand plan that is going to affect one of the 5 great nations, thus prompting Boruto, Sarada, and the new Inoshikacho to join forces to find Mitsuki, get him away from that group, and potentially stop maybe a coup or something. This helps develop Mitsuki's character, and something that has been plaguing him throughout the entirety of the Boruto series, primarily in the anime, which had a lot of focus, was if he had free will, if he had a soul, which is what this arc was meant to help build up to, which, yes, he does. And even in the manga, we see Mitsuki's development as a person, and I do really enjoy and admire that. Another thing about that arc that I really do enjoy is primarily the fact that we got Tsunade and the village elders' reactions to the fact that Naruto hid the fact that he brought Orochimaru's kid into the village and made him a shinobi. That's just something I wish I saw in the manga, and even though it was like not dealt with to a very long extent, because we had to focus on Boruto, I think it was handled very well, and it was something that I really would have loved to see in the manga. Now, before I get into the finishing thoughts on the manga and how the anime helps improve certain aspects of it, let's just say there's just one particular episode in Boruto's anime that I really do enjoy, and that is episode 178, as it is an entire episode that is meant to be a memorial service for everyone that fell during the 4th Great Ninja War. And we see everybody coming up, paying their respects to the fallen. And we have a very strong focus on Shikamaru and Ino, who lost their fathers in that war due to the Ten Tails, and the whole thing was that they were struggling with, did their parents actually relay this whole plan to them because they knew that they were going to do this, or just to give them a sense of confidence before their parents had some final moments. And it has a really nice resolution with the character known as Ao, who shows up for the memorial service without even realizing it was a memorial service, with the help of a manga character called Mugino, who gets a lot of more screen time in Boruto, especially in the Victor arc and even now, which gives him more characters. It's the same thing with Ao, as we were introduced with him, and alluded to what he could play into the future of the series, as Mugino and Ao are manga characters that play a major role in the arc that's going to follow this. And that's another thing the Boruto anime really does, and though it does do this to a very wide extent and not always digs too deep into it, it helps show us how the world is like after Naruto, how the events of the 4th Great Ninja War shaped the outskirts of the ninja world, the 5 Great Nations. We visit the 5 Great Nations, see how they've changed after the course of the 4th Great Ninja War, and with the advent of the new Kage, and how their rules have helped shape their villages and how this new peace has been formed. So the anime of Boruto does help with the world building that the manga could not get into. Yes, there is a crap ton of filler in the Boruto anime, which there is a lot of stuff that you can just straight up skip, but there are stuff adapted from light novels of the Naruto series that are honestly pretty good, and just something that you just enjoy to watch. The Boruto manga is still phenomenal. We got a lot of great action sequences. Boruto's development is still very good. Kawaki is an interesting character. The organization of Kara, while not super complex, does help give us some interesting antagonists and villains for the entirety of the Boruto series, as it helps build up towards the end goal of this whole freaking series, and I'm honestly for it. We get more interest and detail into the battles as we have strategies, more focus on the hand signs, as, let's agree, in later Naruto, no one really paid that much attention to the hand signs, as everyone just straight up did jutsu after jutsu without spending the time for the hand signs. And that's something that I've come to appreciate. We got more nice hand-to-hand combat. It's something, it feels like a nice return to form, even though we have like big, end of Naruto like power scaling, city leveling fights, especially with stuff that's being adapted into the anime right now, with one of the best fights in Boruto, period, that is going to be animated. Now, Boruto's manga is still monthly. Its pacing has gotten better over time. The manga did not have great pacing for the opening arcs, but once we got introduced to Kara, the evil organization, the pacing seemed a lot more fluid, and the author started to do more time with it. Now Kishimoto finally came back to the series after the original author for Boruto was, I believe, fired or let go. I don't want to get into that. Someone else is doing the art, and their artwork has in fact gotten better over time, as the beginning artwork for Boruto was kind of rough and did not feel like Boruto, kind of unpleasant, but it continued to improve over and over every single time with each passing arc and chapter, and it almost seems seamless from Kishimoto's artwork. Obviously Kishimoto's artwork is leagues better, but it almost feels like it could be Kishimoto's artwork at some point. And I am really happy to see Kishimoto on the manga, as now I get the original creator of Naruto to take part in the actual sequel to Naruto right now. The Boruto manga honestly has a lot of nice character moments. It handles Sasuke and Naruto relatively well. I know a lot of people like to do the whole Boruto's dad joke, or the fact that Naruto and Sasuke were nerfed beyond belief, or they weren't handled well, but I do think that Naruto and Sasuke were handled pretty well, considering that this is a sequel series based on the son of Naruto, and I think the general characterization of both characters have been done pretty well, staying true to who they are for the most part, and I'm overall happy with it. Now, the action scenes for the manga I'm going to get into are relatively well paced and done relatively well. However, a lot of stuff does happen where some of the action panels seem pretty stagnant or stale. Even more recently, with one of the most important fights of the series, for the opening portions of it, it didn't feel that impactful or that blood-pumpingly awesome. Not until the second half and towards the end of that fight, where it did feel like, something that you would see out of Naruto, for instance, or something that is inspired by Dragon Ball, which I believe the artist or panel or someone who works for the panels is inspired by. And that's something I can't wait for the Boruto series anime to get into, as whenever it adapts stuff from the manga or tries to add to the manga, it's done really well. A lot of the fights that are canon are done spectacularly. Obviously, episode 65 of Boruto is held in high regard with Sasuke and Naruto versus Momoshiki, as that is one of the best fights in Boruto's anime, and honestly a good opening climactic fight for the manga's opening arc. So I have nothing but anticipation for how the Boruto anime is going to adapt the canon material, as the second we got back into canon material with the upcoming Kara arc with the introduction of Kawaki. While there was a few brief episodes of filler, it was meant to add more to both Kawaki's character and the character of Sumire, who had more development and episodes pertaining to her, which helped add her into the plot. But yes, I am looking forward to how Boruto is going to adapt the manga in this anime, as the manga is honestly very good. We got some nice development with the characters. Pacing is pretty tightly knit, even though we could have had some more stuff in it. But the second the anime hit that Kawaki train, it just kept popping off, and the animation was straight up amazing. We had some amazing fights. It's like everything was gone relatively fast. True, we do get some fillerish stuff or extra build-up and moments adapted in the anime, but it's all done for the credit and the benefit of the Boruto anime to make it the best it can be, especially since we got roughly we have like 30-ish chapters left in the manga to be adapted, so depending on how quickly it's all adapted, then we could see Boruto potentially entering its time skip, like at the beginning of the series, the anime and the manga. The beginning focuses on a teenage Boruto and Kawaki in a destroyed Leaf Village, so I do see this happening somewhere down the road, and with the way the manga is headed right now after the end of one of its most intense arcs and fights, I am relatively excited to see what's going to happen next. Boruto has kept me anticipating for what could possibly happen. It's got theorization videos, and it helps with the world building of the Narutoverse, and it's something I really do enjoy. It's something that a lot of sequel series should and can do, and Boruto, particularly with the help of the anime, helps build everything up. But yeah, that was my general thoughts and impressions on the series as a whole. There isn't too much to get into unless I go into full-on spoilers, so I'm probably just going to end the video off right here. If you enjoyed stuff like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. If you want me to cover the series monthly, then don't forget to try and get me to that 100,000 view goal and 100 likes, and then I will begin doing videos monthly covering every chapter as they come out. I know it's a very steep goal, but I really do think we can do this, as I do think this video will do relatively well. And even though this was highly unscripted, I think you guys will enjoy it, and I think you all got my point that Boruto is honestly a very decent series, possibly even a good series with some proper things that can be added thanks to the anime adaptation. But with all that said and done, this video has gone on long enough. I hope I can trim it down a little bit. But with that said and done, leave your thoughts down below on this video, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, your thoughts, your own personal thoughts on Boruto as a whole, and if you will continue following it or begin to follow it. And yeah, with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.